It's Rocky Mountain Sasquatch. During our recent Bigfoot expedition to Sasquatch sighting locations in northwest Montana, we reached out to a local researcher named Duke from World Bigfoot TV. He kindly took us into an active spot in the Garnet Mountains, northeast of Missoula. We immediately began to identify Bigfoot trackways and documented dozens of Sasquatch tracks in 2 trackways, going up and down the mountain to and from water source, a creek. The largest tracks we documented were around 19 inches in length and around 8 inches wide at the toes. Those were the 2 main trackways, 19-inch tracks, showing that an individual was going to the top of the mountain and down into the nearest creek. We heard Bigfoot-style vocalization several times during our investigation hike, and sometimes they would go back and forth from 2 different directions, indicating whatever it was, there was more than one, and they were communicating to each other. During one vocalization event, Jenny and Kelly directed a camera in the direction of some pretty close whoops and screams. During editing, we saw briefly what looked like a dark humanoid figure lean out from behind a tree, exposing itself for a second or two, as it was checking us out after vocalizing. It appeared to be the left side of the creature from its dome head, including its torso and left leg. Because it was at a distance and so brief, we did not make a big deal out of it. After several viewers contacted us about the event that watched our investigation video, we decided to take a closer look. We then noticed a second one behind a log leaning against a host tree. It appears to take a look at us also after the vocalization, then hides behind the host tree. Not saying these are Bigfoot tree peeking at us and vocalizing, however, we would like to show what we and other viewers have identified in the video. I would also like to zoom in and slow the footage down so everyone can take a better look. If it wasn't for the amazing Bigfoot trackways we found that day, and then the vocalizations, it prompted us to point the camera in the direction, we would have just shrugged off this 220 frame section that lasted under 4 seconds. But because of everything found and heard at that point in time, here it is. After we play this footage, we will show off some of the better 19-inch tracks we found in 2 separate trackways. One trackway went down the mountain toward the creek, the other went up toward the mountain peak. Just got vocalizations off that way. There it goes again. A bunch of hooping.
Whole track in so they can see.
Look, something went up the hillside right here. Jenny found these tracks about 8.5 inches wide right there. I don't think it used the entire foot here. Yeah, I think it was just using the front pad of the foot, which there's about 13 inches of it. I think the hill probably extended off the hillside here. Also stepped right there. It was heading up this embankment hillside.
Whatever it was nimble because...
And usually a Bigfoot track at the widest point, the length of the track's usually about double. However, saying that, once they hit about 8 inches wide, 8.5 inches wide, they usually quit getting any wider. But that's something that would be 17 inches or longer. But yeah, whatever it was heavy as hell. That went up right there. This one's about 19 inches in length. And you can see where one of the toes really... It may have been the big toe on the right foot that really shoved in right here as it leaped. It brought the rest of this dirt down on its tracks when it leaped. Oh yeah, 8.5 inches wide, just like the one below. The one below was just like most of the front of the mid-tarsal, but this is the entire track. And it terminates about 6 inches is where it starts curving to the back. And you can see the heel come clear back to here. Yeah, this one's ginormous. This one, from the top of the big toe
to where it terminates and curves around in the back is about 18.5 to 19 inches in length. Yeah, I am seeing another track over here.
And like, it's not even a track, it's a crater.
Yeah, one of his toes is showing up really good on this side. And he sunk in deep. He sunk in about 2.5 inches in the rear. And I'm having a hard time coming up this. And he probably come up here gracefully compared to me. Do you guys find one up here that has around a 19-inch track?
Oh yeah.
Guesstimate this one's 18.5 to 19 inches in length by the couple of tracks I just looked at. More tracks that come up from here. See, down into this gully. And this road that we're on is closed off to traffic. You can't drive on this anymore. There's a service gate.
Oh my God.
It just looks like steps.
Yeah, it's come up and down this.
I think a lot of times.
It may be going down and getting some drink down in that creek down
like
there.
a little creek or
Creek
something
down there.
Down there. And then he comes right back up here to the road.
Look, this looks like his foot actually going down. Okay, we showed you several of them going uphill, but this is it going downhill. Its toes have just driven in right here and done a ton of damage with all of its weight. Going downhill. Person kind of sidesteps going down, but it's got its toe pointed straight down, no problem. Where you or I would be sidestepping down this to avoid breaking our neck. That is deep, deep. He sunk in a good 6 inches.
Well, I'll guarantee one thing, whatever's making these tracks, it ain't a cow.
No.
Check out that. This is it coming down. It is 18 inches up to the toe section. And the toes come up here. And it coming downhill, you would think that it would put all of its weight in the front. But probably keeping its balance, it put most of the weight in the back, giving us a really nice hill area.
Crushed the ground down about a foot, you know.
Yeah.
The hill is about 5 inches wide where it starts to curve to the back. And up at the toe area, 8 inches. And this one looks like it's got the crazy toe off to one side. And it sunk in on the downhill side 4 inches, uphill side about 6 inches. So now we got evidence of it going uphill and downhill.
You got another one right there. You got another one right there. You got another one right there, and that's where it stepped down off the embankment.
Yeah, people, it's a trackway. It's not just a one-hopping legged Sasquatch. In my experience, Bigfoot does not like to leave tracks. Once you find a good one, it leads to more, and we probably just saw a couple dozen tracks there, but 5 or 6 of them were the fully defined, where you got both sides of the feet, the heel and the toes. But when they're going uphill, they sometimes just use the front of the mid-tarsal, so you're only getting 3/4, half of a footprint.
Yep. We've seen them doing that a lot on really steep hillsides where they'll take their foot and they'll cram it in like a piton. And this much of their foot actually goes into the hillside, and that's what they're putting all their weight on. So you never see the back of the foot.
I've seen that in Washington.
And always remember, don't flip off the mountain giant, don't poke Dogman with a stick, don't punt the Puckwudgies, and for God's sakes, whatever you do not hug the Wookiees.
That is some Bigfooting advice from Duke on World Bigfoot TV.